My name is Emma, and my last name is Wong, and I came from Hong Kong. I came here in 2000 with my parents. I was 13, 12 or 13, I believe. Needless to say, it was quite a cultural shock to come here because I didn't really speak the language. The culture was very different. Our home life certainly was very different. When we first moved here, my parents didn't have enough money to open a restaurant, so they did work in like Oakland, Chinatown as like waitress and chef. But when they did save enough money, then we sort of sought out like other opportunities in the smaller town. So they moved to a town called Antioch, and at that time, Antioch wasn't as populated and didn't have as many like Chinese people, Black people, Latinos. Like the community was very predominantly white. So when they moved there, the customers were predominantly white, and they would just have to kind of learn the English, like really essential English, like oh how this is how much, like what do you want to order and that sort of stuff. So it really helped them. I believe it helped my parents also to kind of assimilate into the culture because they had to learn the language, and they really they had the desire to communicate with people other than the Chinese community because now they're in kind of a suburb area. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so a lot of people kind of assume, like if you came from any region in China, automatically you kind of live a rural life, but that's not true because I came from Hong Kong and it was a city life. In fact, it was much more advanced than the US at that time, as far as how I know anyway. Like
Roughly.
that was 2000. So that was when, like the computers and everything came out, right? Like you suddenly have dialed up and then you have like broadband wave, like, that stuff for the internet. And when I was in Hong Kong, I didn't have to use dial up anymore. Like we had the broadband, and so like it was much faster in terms of internet speed. I have my own computer and everything. But I came to the US and lived in like Oakland in the project, you know, and we couldn't afford a computer because my parents pretty much gave up their job, and but they didn't want to sell their house, so they still have to like pay for their mortgage in Hong Kong. And so life was pretty tough. And I went from like having like a good computer, like personal computer, with good internet speed to not having that. So to me, it was like, wow, I'm actually going backward because people think, oh, coming to US is like you going forward. Yeah, you still have like kind of suburb areas. Um, so not seeing that diversity is one thing, and then another thing is um, this is probably my favorite example. So we came here. We have like no cable TV or anything, right? Just basic cable. And the show that my mom watched a lot was Jerry Springer. And to us, it was like uh, you would never see that in Hong Kong TV show. Like there's nothing outrageous like that. You don't curse on TV. You don't like mention anything sexual at all, right? But suddenly like they're broadcasting it on TV. So that was definitely like a huge cultural shock.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Um,
Um and another thing that we left behind, I'll say probably some just memories, like from time to time I was actually thinking about this today. Um when I was little, I would go back to China with my grandma every summer, and I would remember like my grandma's house being a certain way. And because I hadn't been back to China for 16, 17 years since I've moved here, the last time I went back to China, it was completely different. Like they had like demolished the whole building, and you know, rebuilt, like everything was brand new, and you really couldn't recognize the streets anymore. So I felt like part of my childhood memories didn't exist anymore because now they're gone with the building being gone and the streets being gone. So